Have you ever questioned the foundation of your choices? Do you truly control your destiny, or is it a predetermined path you unknowingly tread? This age-old debate, free will versus determinism, has puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries. We grapple with the implications of our actions, the weight of responsibility, and the very essence of what it means to be human. Our journey will lead us through the corridors of history, where great minds have pondered the nature of choice, and into the laboratories of neuroscientists who seek answers in the intricate workings of our brains. If our actions are merely the consequence of a predetermined script, what does it mean to hold someone accountable for their deeds? How can we celebrate achievements or condemn transgressions if they were always meant to be? As we embark on this intellectual adventure, be prepared to question your deeply held beliefs and confront uncomfortable truths. Free will, a concept deeply intertwined with our sense of self, posits that we are the ultimate authors of our lives. It suggests that we possess an inherent ability to make choices freely, independent of external constraints or predetermined outcomes. This perspective empowers us as conscious agents, responsible for the consequences of our actions. The notion of free will allows for praise and blame, reward and punishment, as we navigate the complexities of human interaction. Proponents of free will argue that our subjective experience of choice is undeniable. We imagine different scenarios, weigh potential outcomes, and ultimately select a course of action based on our own internal compass. In stark contrast to the liberating embrace of free will, determinism presents a more rigid view of human agency. This perspective argues that every event, including our thoughts and actions, is causally predetermined by an unbreakable chain of prior events. Determinists contend that our perception of free will is an illusion, a product of our limited understanding of the complex web of causal factors that shape our behavior. From this perspective, our genes, upbringing, social conditioning, and even seemingly random external factors converge to create the illusion of choice. We may believe we are acting freely, but in reality, our decisions are merely the predetermined responses to a complex interplay of internal and external stimuli. If every action is predetermined, then the concept of moral responsibility becomes problematic. The debate between free will and determinism is not new. Aristotle, a staunch advocate for free will, believed that humans possess the capacity for rational thought and deliberation, enabling them to make choices that shape their character and destiny. On the other hand, the Stoic philosophers, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, embraced a deterministic worldview. While we may not control the events that befall us, the Stoics argued, we can choose how we respond to them, finding freedom in our inner lives even amidst external constraints. The Enlightenment witnessed a resurgence of interest in free will, with thinkers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau emphasizing the importance of individual liberty and self-determination. In the 20th century, existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus explored the implications of radical freedom. The debate between free will and determinism is not merely an abstract philosophical exercise. If we embrace free will, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and responsibility. This perspective empowers us to strive for personal growth, pursue our passions, and contribute to a better world. However, it also burdens us with the weight of accountability. On the other hand, embracing determinism can be both liberating and unsettling. If our choices are illusory, why bother striving for anything? This line of thinking can lead to a passive acceptance of the status quo, hindering personal growth and societal progress. As our understanding of the human brain advances, neuroscientists are beginning to offer their own insights into the free will versus determinism debate. Some studies suggest that our conscious awareness of a decision may actually lag behind the brain activity associated with that decision. In other words, our brains may be making choices before we are even consciously aware of them, challenging our intuitive notion of free will. For example, in a famous experiment by Benjamin Libet, participants were asked to move their finger at a time of their choosing while their brain activity was monitored. The results showed that neural activity associated with the finger movement began several milliseconds before the participants reported consciously deciding to move their finger. This suggests that our choices and actions can influence the very structure and function of our brains, potentially giving us a degree of agency in shaping our own destinies. If determinism holds true, and our lives are indeed predetermined, does that render our efforts to find meaning and purpose futile? Some argue that even in a deterministic universe, meaning and purpose are not lost, but rather redefined. We can find fulfillment in pursuing knowledge, appreciating beauty, cultivating relationships, and contributing to the well-being of others, even if these actions were always destined to occur. The very act of seeking meaning in our lives, of striving to make sense of our experiences and connect with something larger than ourselves, can bring a sense of purpose and satisfaction. The debate between free will and determinism is likely to continue for centuries to come. It is a question that has puzzled philosophers and scientists for generations, and it is unlikely that we will find a definitive answer anytime soon. However, the absence of a definitive answer does not diminish the importance of asking the question. The free will versus determinism debate forces us to confront fundamental questions about what it means to be human, the nature of consciousness, and our place in the cosmos. It challenges us to think critically about the choices we make and to live our lives with intentionality, regardless of whether or not those choices are ultimately free. So, the next time you are faced with a decision, big or small, take a moment to reflect on the forces at play. Are you truly the master of your fate, or are you merely a puppet dancing on the strings of destiny?